Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me once again. Today, I am going to dive on in and take a first look at Castles and Crusades, The Undying War from Trollord Games. This is written by Davis and Stephen Chanault, with artwork provided by Zoe DeVos and Peter Bradley. This 356-page hardcover is available now, carries an MSRP of $59.99. If you'd like to add the PDF to that, comes out to a total of $69.99. Or if you want to grab just the PDF alone, you can do so for $19.99. As of this recording, this is not available on DriveThru just yet, but you can get the PDF from Trollord Games. All right, all that said, let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got The Undying War for Castles and Crusades. A few things I want to mention before we get stuck in. First of all, my friends over at Trollord Games were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. These days, it's very important that you know that. We're also not going to look at each and every page of The Undying War, but I do want to give you a good feel for what's in this book. Also, this is an adventure campaign. So if your castle keeper has already picked up The Undying War, or maybe they've ordered it, maybe they are considering getting it, and you are a player, I definitely recommend tune out now. Even though I really don't know anything about the adventures, there are going to be some spoilers as we page through. I'm also looking to share some plot synopses of the various different adventures. Now, of course, having said that, if your castle keeper is considering picking up The Undying War, then by all means, let them know about this video so they can take a peek and approach this and make an informed buying decision. Lastly, I will be giving away one copy of The Undying War in PDF. Stay tuned. I will tell you how to get into the running. It won't be too difficult, don't worry. So let's take a look at the back here. The Undying War. The shadow of Ostrog stains all the lands of the east. That dread tower that housed all the raving madness of hell sits now in the midst of the gray pools, a monolith of evil and ruin. Though the horned god who built it is long gone, there are powers there that reach far and wide into the lands beyond. Embark on an epic journey filled with danger and intrigue. The Undying War starts innocently enough along a tranquil river beneath the shadow of the Blacktooth Ridge. But beneath the serene surface lies a world of peril and ambition that will draw your party into a battle of epic proportions. Prepare for heart-pounding encounters, treacherous dungeons, mysterious towns, formidable castles, and abandoned fortresses. A wide range of NPCs and encounter areas, all set against a backdrop of untamed wilderness. As the story unfolds, you are thrust into a conflict between good and evil, led by the enigmatic Coburg the Undying, whose lust for power is intertwined with love and loss. The Undying War combines the previously published adventure modules A0 through A12. The epic adventure takes your party from 1st to 13th level, immersing you in the never-ending machinations of High Lord Coburg the Undying that all lead to the very doors of hell itself. Your journey begins here on the path to destiny. The Undying War awaits. The road to hell begins with one first step. Should mention, these adventures have been published previously. They are each individually available in PDF as far as I understand. And I would certainly recommend, if you are interested in The Undying War and you want to pick it up in PDF, get the entire campaign in one PDF for $19.99, because otherwise, if you're buying it by chapter, you're going to spend far, far more just by getting the individual files. So about The Undying War. The Undying War is an adventure designed to carry your player characters from 1st to 13th level. It is an epic adventure that includes overland, village, town, and city, dungeons, castles, long journeys, and a final trek down a long causeway through the Grumsland, the Gray Swamps, to the doors of hell It pits the characters against enemies, both human and humanoid, monsters and devils. The adventure offers multiple opportunities for role-playing and character building that brings them the final revelation that the war they are drawn into is driven not only by greed, but love. So it looks like we're going to get a bit of history here of the area. Here we have a breakdown of each of the adventures. I do believe that many of these adventures can be utilized as standalone tales as well. They are not all necessarily locked into this campaign. So it looks like we've got a map of Ostrog and some of its locales nearby. So we're going to start off with A0, Rising Knight. Looks like this is designed for a party of 4 to 6 first-level adventurers. Challenge level should rarely exceed 1. See if we can find a bit of a synopsis here. Well, let's see what it says for the Castle Keeper. Grisnak the Bold is massive and mean-spirited, even for a gnoll. He is also canny and aware that the inhabitants of Melforton do not have the ability to confront his troops in force and defeat him. As such, he no longer fears reprisal for his raids and threats. He has also changed his tack. He is no longer raiding Malforin. Rather, he is now demanding tribute from the town, so he does not have to fight for it. He takes cattle, grain, and other goods he desires. Right, so it looks as if the player characters are going to be drawn in because of this Gnoll and his Gnoll raiders. So here we get a look at the town of Melforton. Places of importance. The Empty Flagon says this is the only tavern in town. The Rope and Barrel, that must be a trading post. Shrine of Wenifar. And the jail, although Melforton has no sheriff or real legal authority figure, it does have a jail. Nice. Very nice. And then it looks as if we have a small dungeon area. Oh, maybe a little larger than small because there's a second level. Next, we have Assault on Blacktooth Ridge. The town of Buckenberg lies far from the settled lands of the south and the fabled kingdom of New Arnik. It sits upon a bend in the Rusin River in the shadows of the slopes of the rugged hills of the Blacktooth Ridge in a land known as the Barren Wood. However, it is not always referred to in such dour tones. In happier days, this land was a wild forested country named the Rusin. The forests have an exceedingly large expanse and filled with many beasts, as well as settlements of man, halfling, and elf. It says there's an underlying plot and theme for Assault on Blacktooth Ridge, which allows for an initial adventuring focus and continuation in the next adventure. The Slag Heap. A new town, Botkenberg, with some keyed areas, some keyed locales. Looks like that's what we're finding here. Then we've got the Blacktooth Ridge. The ridgeline stretches from the plains of Ashenroe. Then we've got the Blacktooth Ridge. Looks like we've got some tables for the town, such as rumors. And we've got Krugel's Lair. So it must be one of the baddies that we encounter. Then we have the Vargolg. Is that a location? Yes, it is. The Vargolg is an ancient underground complex once used as a secret storehouse and barracks for one of Ostrog's regiments. So as far as I understand, that there is a fortress of Ostrog, which is where this horned god resided and ruled over the land, the region, I guess. I will say this looks like there is a lot of adventuring content in the Undying War. That's for sure. Looks like we're coming up on the next adventure, Slag Heap. This adventure is best suited as a gateway to other adventures and escapades of the Castle Keeper's making. The adventure's monsters, characters, and setting, though tied together by themes and plots, all offer an abundance of interesting asides and the potential for other adventures which are wholly unrelated to the Slag Heap. After exploring Blacktooth Ridge, you will find the material related in the Slag Heap both different and familiar. The slag heap details a region south of the Russen River, Ludensheim, and Botkenberg, and the events that unfold here are only loosely connected to those related in the previous adventure. It says this is presented in 3 parts. Cool. Looks like we've got some new towns. Also looks like we're getting some read aloud with the bold text, which I hadn't seen that in the previous adventures. But again, I may have just skimmed past some of it. So here we got the black hole. And we have the tall wall, the burrow. So these dungeon areas look like there's a bit to them, but not like a crazy amount of locations. So here we've got A3 Wicked Cauldron. I would say at this point, oh, that's what I was looking for. It says the adventure is designed for 3 to 5 characters of 3rd and 4th level. The Wicked Cauldron was designed as a single walkthrough adventure with several nights of play. To manage this, though, the players must be stealthy and smart, trying not to alarm the entirety of the Ziggurats inhabitants to their presence. Castle keepers should do everything possible to impart the need for stealth and smarts to the players prior to and throughout play. If you are not overly familiar with Castles and Crusades, I really enjoy it. I think it is an excellent old school styled fantasy role-playing game. It is kind of built off of 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons, so it's not truly an OSR sort of role-playing game, or at least many people will not define Castles and Crusades as OSR. But in my opinion, I feel that it plays very, very nicely with the key concepts of the old school Renaissance. If you are looking for that old school vibe with far more modern mechanics, D20 mechanics, then Castles and Crusades is a fantastic option for you. There is loads of content out there. Funny enough, Castles and Crusades is one of the earliest of the old school Renaissance sort of titles. So Castles and Crusades has been out for quite some time, and there's always new content coming out. Now, some of that content has been out of print, so it's making reappearances like, say, the Undying War. I think this is the first time all 13 of these adventures have been collected together in one volume. But I think some of the adventures have been collected previously because we took a peek at a soft cover book which had a lot of these adventures. But I don't recall it going all the way to A13. Just kind of taking a peek through here. I think we're at the next adventure. Yep, there we go. Usurpers of the Fell Axe. Usurpers of the Fell Axe takes place in the city of Ludensheim. The leader of the city, Baron Dietbold Heimer, has been ensorcelled by a cursed axe, the Fell Axe, given to him by some priests of Unklar. I think Unklar is the name of the horned god. Heimer now does the bidding of these evil priests. The priests worship a fallen deity, the horned god. There you go, Unklar. Well, it was in the next sentence. All right. And are attempting to gain control over the city and help lay the foundation for that god's return. Well. So I would take a stab in the dark that the player characters are going to try to separate the leader from that cursed axe, which is probably going to put them on the radar of the baddies. So it looks like we've got a good amount of page space devoted to the town. It's got important NPCs. Then we go to the Shattered Horn. Let's see what we've got here. Do we see the player levels? I do not. I don't see the player character levels. Take a guess, maybe 4 to 5 at this point. The Shattered Horn continues the adventures in the Hrusin River Valley as war comes to all, driven by Coburg's minions holed up in the Tower of Fettering Act. Fresh from the wars in Chapter 5, the characters now find themselves pitted against an even greater enemy. So I guess maybe war broke out in the previous adventure? Well, says this adventure has been designed such that it can be played independently of the series. As I had mentioned previously, I thought that was the case with many of these adventures. Says this is designed for a single walkthrough by 3 to 5 characters, has a challenge rating of 5 to 8. So you are looking at level 5 or so for your player characters. Keeping in mind, Castles and Crusades is not one of these games where it's like, oh, got to make sure that every encounter is balanced. No, it does not work that way. Okay, so it looks like we've got this tower festing act. I thought it said festering. I guess it's festing act. So far, it appears that these adventures run about 30 pages or so in length up to this point. So here we have A6 of Banishment and Blight. At this point in the Undying War of Adventures, the journey to Offstrog has begun. The characters begin encountering powerful creatures who are not evil by nature, but who are often aloof to the day-to-day affairs of the world and do not completely understand nor care about the characters' concerns. They're not evil, not good, not even neutral. They are simply unconcerned. Their actions indifferent to the fate or lives of the characters. Of Banishment and Blight is designed for those characters carelessly brave enough to travel into uncharted and uncivilized lands to meet, bargain, and fight with beings who helped to shape the world of Erde. The location of this adventure is far from civilization, where the blighted screed vanishes beneath the mire of the Grozm land. Okay. I am very, very intrigued by this campaign. In a lot of ways, I like the fact that these adventures are tied together, but you can utilize them, at least many of them that we've seen to this point. You can utilize these as standalone. Although it did seem like that adventure was a little shorter. So we have Beneath the Despairing Stone. This adventure revolves around the characters opening a magically sealed door to free a creature known as Unmolkling, the brother of the Unmolkling found in the Shattered Horn. To open the door and free the Unmolkling, the characters must take an item from each devil and use them to open the door. These are not easy to retrieve as the devils need the items. Once the items are retrieved, the characters only have a little time to use them to open the door to the cell. Oh, okay. So this seems like this might be a little bit of a tighter adventure. Although there are probably various different devils that the characters will have to defeat or maybe negotiate with some in order to receive these items. I was going to say that seemed like a relatively short adventure here. Now we've got the Forsaken Mountain. So this is designed for 3 to 5 characters. Now they're 8th to 10th level. The epic undertaking in Forsaken Mountain sets the adventurers on a fantastic journey, leaving behind the world they know. The characters travel far beyond the realms of man and cross over into the land of dreams, and thence into the realms of the forever dying, where creatures both horrifying and ambrosial dwell. Only the bravest can survive in that land, as one's fears will certainly be one's undoing. The adventure is designed for those characters that are truly leaving behind the mundane realms and entering those fantastic and heroic worlds of adventure where death lingers behind every door and doom follows every misstep. Cool. Across the Dreaming Sea. It's like we've got a little bit of read aloud once again. I think the big bad in this, the Coburg the Undying, is a paladin who has taken many missteps, I guess. Of course, there must be some doomed love affair involving that NPC because that's sort of the vibe I got from just reading the back of the book. So next we have Beneath the Helm of Night. This adventure is designed for 9th to 11th level characters. It pits them against the grim power that lords over the Tower of Horus. Sitting upon the edge of a huge swamp, the tower stands upon a great outcrop of rock. The party must venture across the water to the isle and enter the tower undetected to plunder its holds and destroy the evil that dwells there. Beneath the Helm of Night is designed for a single night's play, or at longest over several sessions. So it looks like this is kind of a 1 session, maybe 2 session adventure, which I would think would lead to this being a standalone type of tale, even though it does tie into the Undying War. So it looks like this is the tower. It's like quite a few rooms, though. Actually, quite a few pages devoted to it as well. So maybe not a single session. Although it's important to keep in mind, I think a lot of people who play an old school styled role-playing game, many of them tend to play longer sessions. I know I personally do. Most of my role-playing game sessions are pretty much never shorter than about 5 hours. Sometimes they go a little more than that. I know a lot of folks out there, their role-playing game sessions might be 2-3 hours. So maybe there is maybe 4 or 5 hours of adventuring in that last tale. This adventure brings the party to the last free town before their journey to Offstrag enters its final road. Here they must rest and resupply, all the while finding the vessel and staying alive in this town that is the last respite. This is an adventure designed for 3 to 5 characters of 10th to 12th level. The adventure contains an array of challenges for the characters to overcome on their travels across the Defumland. They will travel upon the Imperial Road to the town of Grafika in their pursuit of the Lady of Garen, the Vessel of Souls. Ooh, I wonder if that is the lost love of High Lord Coburn. I don't know. We'll find out. We will find out. Of course, I will be reviewing The Undying War. It'll probably be a little bit, probably 2-3 weeks, simply because there's a lot to this. 350 some pages? Before we get into our next adventure, which is The Wasting Way, this is the next to last, let me tell you how you can get into the running to win The Undying War in PDF. I'm going to make it pretty simple. First of all, you must be a subscriber to the Gaming Gang channel. Please give this video a thumbs up. Granted, there's no way I can check to see if you do that, but do me a favor and please do that. And then all you have to do is share a comment on this video about what you look forward to in Castles and Crusades. If you're already familiar with the role-playing game, tell me what you like. If you're just learning about Castles and Crusades, let me know what's piquing your interest. Then I will choose one lucky commenter and reveal the winner during my review of The Undying War. Like I said, I'll make it pretty easy for you to get into the running. So this is The Wasting Way. This adventure is not far from the town of Grafika as explored in the previous adventure, as they travel south either with or seeking the Lady of Garen, the Vessel of Souls. So this for 10th to 13th level. Many years past, Unkalar, the Horned God, lifted up a mighty fortress, a citadel thousands of feet high and over a mile in girth. He named the fortress Offstrag. The land about the fortress he rent and wrote so that the 2 great rivers, the Undale and Euphrates, poured into the broken land. The waters filled the fissures and chasms and flooded the plains, sinking into the soft earth. Where lush farmlands had once sprouted well-manicured fields, now stood a gray mire of swamps, marshlands, bottoms, bogs, sluggish creeks, and deep pools. Those who dwelt there in the past died in the making or fled the country to parts distant. So this is leading us to the gates of hell, although the player characters, as far as I understand, I don't think they actually go to hell. So this looks like there's a lot of info regarding this tower or various different gates. Here we go, the towers. And we have the Paladin's Lament. This is going to be the finale. The party has crossed the causeway and come to the final obstacles that stand before them in the gates to Offstrog, where entry awaits only the sounding of the horn of opening. This is the last adventure before characters enter Hell on Air Day. So they are going to enter Hell? That must be a whole different campaign. This is an adventure for characters 13th level and higher, so 3 to 5 characters. The Paladin's Lament finds the characters safely across the ruins of the Wasting Way, the great causeway that crosses the Grossum land, and approaching the portico where the gates of the ancient towers of Offstrug stand. These fabled towers are home to the remnants of an evil that plagued the world in centuries past, and one the world does not wish to see again. The Paladin's Lament comprises a series of adventures in and around the portico, which includes the Fen Morass, the Haunted Ramp, the Kennel, and Tower of the Horn. Once they have passed through, they have either entered Offstrog or solved the riddle to opening the great gates. So maybe this is not the finale? It's pretty wild. So it did say this campaign takes the player characters to the gates of hell, which seems to be what Offstrog is. Interesting. So it looks as if this continues in A13 to A17, Dungeons of Offstrog, which is, I guess, already out. And it says more content is planned for release in the near future. Okay, kind of interesting, because I know this is a new print run of the Undying War. In fact, I thought this is the first time all 13 of these adventures have been collected into one volume. And again, I could be wrong. So it looks like we're going to wrap up with an appendix with some new magic items. And that is a look inside Castles and Crusades, The Undying War from my friends over at Troll Lord Games. Once again, be sure to get into the running to win a copy of The Undying War in PDF. And of course, I will review this in 2 to 3 weeks. And that's when I will reveal the winner. All right, that is it for this time out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell. It'll not only let you know when I share videos such as this first look, it'll also inform you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. Of course, when you're not watching videos here on the channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and until I see you next time, I certainly hope all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.